Hey everyone, welcome to today's talk on enabling your teams to beat the competition. Really excited to go through this webinar with you and to talk through some best practices around how to roll out engaging, high impact coaching and content to help you improve win rates and ultimately beat the competitors in every deal. That's a question I ask myself all the time. Why aren't we winning every deal? And so now what we're going to do is we're going to tell you the secret of how to do that. Feel free to book questions in the feed here, or you can go to Twitter on my Twitter handle, Eli Cohen, or you can go to LinkedIn, and I posted a post on this on LinkedIn. You can put some questions there, and we'll bring your questions forward here in the webinar. So here we go. Thank you very much. Excited to get going. How to enable your teams to beat the competition. Let's get into it. So first off, let's talk about what's happening in the industry today. First, our sales teams around the world, doesn't matter what company you're in, what industry you're in, information overload. There's too much being thrown at them from a whole bunch of different places. So, how do we start curating and filtering the appropriateness and relevance of specific content at the right time, right? So let's just, we don't have a shortage of content. What we have is we have a too much content, and the content that's being created, it's not always relevant at the time that it's being created. So how do we get the right content funneled at the right time and make it relevant at the exact specific scenario that I needed as an individual or salesperson or customer success person? The other thing that's happening in the world of competitive coaching, competitive content is out of context. And meaning, we'll create battle cards, we'll create some training at kickoffs, maybe at a QBR, at a quarterly business review. But then what happens when I'm in the field and I have a deal and I'm going head to head with a competitor? I need that training and that content in the right context. And finally, another thing we're seeing is way too much competitive bashing. We've lost the classiness and the importance of focusing on value when we're working deals and working with buyers. So too much competitive bashing, it's not necessary. We're going to show you how to avoid that. And finally, from a data perspective, win rates are not great. Right? I think that 47% stat from CSO Insights, I think it's even lower. You speak to many tech companies and they're sitting in the sub 30% range. But CSO Insights says we're 47%. But why are we only winning less than half of the deals? Those are some of the questions that I ask myself and that we ask ourselves all the time. And so when we think about how do we overcome those challenges and how do we get to a place where we are delivering value to our teams, improving win rates, 3 guiding principles. Number 1, less is more. I'm going to show you around battle cards and some coaching and content, less is more. Second, keep it classy, focus on value. And then third, make sure that we truly understand our competitors' strengths and weaknesses. Just think about that for a second. It's not enough to just drop everything in front of our sales teams. We have to know our competitors' strengths and weaknesses because they do have strengths. And as long as we know their strengths and we know how to overcome those strengths, then we'll be able to tackle them in deals and map them back to specific scenarios so that we can win those deals. So those are 3 guiding principles. So for all the enablement folks and marketing folks on the webinar listening to the call, I encourage you to, when you're sitting down with your product marketers, when you're sitting down with your competitive deal desks, remind them of these 3 guiding principles. Less is more, keep it classy, and know your competitor strengths and weaknesses. And so with that, what we've done with SalesHood is we've created a platform purpose-built to enable companies to get teams on message fast and to boost productivity, to boost sales attainment, and to improve competitive win rates. We've got a bunch of examples. We're going to show you how we do that. And when we think about how we get it done and how we help companies scale improving competitive win rates, it's not just one piece of the puzzle where we just do training. We need to train and onboard our people. Then we need to provide them coaching, and we need to reinforce them with manager coaching and manager reinforcement, and we need to do coaching. The coaching needs to be ongoing, and then we need to deliver just-in-time content, and then we need to make sure that when they're selling, they're engaging with their buyers, that they still get access to that content. We want everything to be social So folks are sharing, crowdsourcing, sharing best practices, and that's what SalesHood is about. And I'm going to give you a demo. I'm going to walk you through how you can use SalesHood to improve competitive win rates. But I love telling stories. I'm going to start with my friend Mark Siciliano. He's vice president of sales productivity and strategy over at Demandbase. Great company, great leader, really embracing the importance of these principles, of these guiding principles. And they've seen a huge increase in their win rates against their competitors. It's a very, very competitive space. The ABM market, the account-based marketing space, hugely competitive. And so they need to make sure they're always preparing their teams, giving them the right content, making sure the content is crowdsourced from the top reps. And this is what Mark's done. And I encourage anyone on this call to reach out to Mark and have a conversation with them, find out how he's doing it with his teams, his guiding principles. He'll give you, even show you how his teams are improving their win rates. It's amazing. And so how are they doing it? There are 5 ways that we've been able to capture from all of our customers, not just Demandbase and Mark Siciliano, but also Siobhan Thatcher. Everyone knows Siobhan Thatcher. She's a leader in the industry. She's been working with us at RingCentral and Host Analytics. And one of the first initiatives she did in SalesHood was at Host, where she went deep on enabling her people to be competent and confident at overcoming the strengths and uncovering the weaknesses and ensuring that they improve competitive win rates. And this is what during her time at Host, and I know they're working on this also at RingCentral, which is great. But 5 things, right? So for you, regardless of what system you use or technology, these are the 5. This is basically your playbook for rolling out, competitive battle cards, improve competitive positioning, and to improve competitive win rates. First, you need to research the competitive strengths and weaknesses. You need to document them. You need to get them from what you're learning publicly, privately. Talk to your customers, talk to your reps, talk to your, prospects, talk to the deals that you lost. Really become a master at all of your competitors' strengths and weaknesses. They have them. Just know them, make them. And then we want you to curate and create coaching huddles that will rely on that research and that information, so that way you can make the strengths and the weaknesses available to your teams when they need it. And then publish the competitive battle cards. I'm going to show you a template, 1-slide battle card, not with everything on it, just focused strengths and weaknesses. Notice what we're doing. We're focusing on the most important information for your sellers to be successful. And then role play and practice, right? Why not have our teams practice and role play things like, how do I overcome strengths? How do I uncover weaknesses? What questions should I be asking, right? That doesn't just happen by pushing a battle card to someone. You got to bring your teams together. They got to collaborate. They got to share best practices. They got to practice. And then ultimately we want you to also start doing things like win back reviews. Yeah, we can call them loss reviews, or we can be optimistic and forward thinking and realize that every loss is an opportunity to win back in the future. So those are the 5 best practices on how you can always beat the competition. And so what I want to do now is give you a demo. I think it's important for folks to see this in action. And I'm going to show you how we do things at SalesHood. So let me bounce out of the slides and let me move into the demonstration. And let me just do a quick check. Are there any questions so far from anyone? Anyone interested to ask questions or challenge any of the assumptions there around how do we improve competitive win rates? Okay. I don't see any questions. Let me go check. No questions. Quiet audience today. All right. Here we go. I'm logged into SalesHood. Logged in as me, and could be a rep. And I think SalesHood is a sales enablement platform that brings together the best of learning, content, coaching, and then correlates all that activity so we can drive outcomes. The outcomes we're talking about here are competitive win rates. And, the system is branded and it's personalized to me, my role, my person, what I do at the company. And we've got this concept called My Hood, which is great because sellers can log in, they can bookmark files. I've prepared for this demonstration and I have bookmarked a competitive battle card template, a Lessonly competitive huddle, one of our competitors, the competition folder in our library, win back reviews. I'm going to show you some of these templates, and then I'm going to give you a day in the life of one of our competitors. That way you can see it. Then I'm going to show you what the content looks like in Salesforce. And then I'll show you some fun stuff we've got around crowdsourcing best practices. And you can see here as well, we've got to-dos on the homepage, pinned items that are being pushed out, and then some trending videos where people are recording stories. You can see some of our new hires. It's all great. So first, when we talk about templates and scorecards and some of the things that SalesHood does amazing for our customers like Mark and Siobhan and the thousands and thousands of customers we have, is we provide you best practice templates. So let me start with the competitive huddle battle card. And so here it is, right? So here is a template where we're prescribing to our customers. If you're going to create a competitive battle card, start from a place of a best practice. Create an overview video, include a promotional video, maybe have a demo video, document the strengths to overcome, document the traps to plant, maybe have a deal support function here, and then also have Q&A, and then you can insert as well the ability for practice. And just think about where this is happening today. It's happening in a bunch of different places, right? People are going for competitive information in Chatter and Slack, text, email, phone, call, leaning over to the person. What if you had everything in one place where people are able to add comments and you can build the institutional knowledge? That's what we're trying to do for organizations, is build a place where you can do content and coaching for all your competitors in one place. I think we got a question. Let's see. Waiting for the demo from someone. So I think we're in the demo. So there we go. Thanks for the push. All right, so this is a great template that we've got. And so what customers are doing is they can then clone the template, and then they can create it for their own competitors. And so what I've done is I've already have a bunch here. So I go into MyHood, and you can see, so the template is there. We also have a competitive battle card template that we make available to our customers. Simple PowerPoint slide, but you can see here, describe the company, competitor strengths, way to overcome the strengths, competitor weaknesses, questions to ask to plant traps. This is fundamental around less is more. And then this is an asset that would be available that you could then tag, right? I could tag it by stage, I could tag it by competitor, and then it would show up in the search, it would show up in Salesforce, in your CRM. And these are just a couple examples of resources that are available inside of the Salesforce platform that then you can use to clone, to copy, and then ultimately to roll out to your teams. So back to MyHood, and what you can see here is I showed you the competitive battle card, I showed you the competitive huddle, and the battle card kind of that unit there. So for us as a company, you can imagine that we've got, we've organized our competitors. Here's our competitive landscape. There are a lot of companies focused in right now on sales enablement, and so I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick a company called Lessonly, great company, and it's important to understand their strengths and weaknesses. And Lessonly is a learning management system company. Now, we're not going to talk about Lessonly per se, but what I'm going to show you here is how my team and I collaborate around ensuring that when we do compete with Lessonly, guess what? We're armed, we're confident, we're competent, we got all the information we need, and it's all available in one place. And so first off, you can see here there's an overview demo, which is great. And this is our solution consultant, Ashley. I'm just going to hit play so we can. She's recorded a video, and that way we get an overview. You can see there's comments, so that way we can see the history. My takeaways, strictly an LMS focus. Walter, one of our reps, saying great content, thank you. And then you can see also that what we're doing is we're transcribing the videos. And why is this important? I'm in a competitive situation, and yeah, I want prescriptive just-in-time content, but you know what? Maybe I just want to go to the search and just search Lessonly or search specific competitors, and I want to be able to know that when I search, that information is going to be served up to me. I'm going to get to the search in a second. You can see here there's an overview. Now, I was finding myself in a couple situations, so I was able to grab my phone in SalesHood, record a story, and then that's me as an executive recording my point of view around this competitor. And you can see here again, it's being, we've got all the great text because we're doing speech to text, so things are searchable. Then what we have is promotional videos. So we're pulling in videos from their YouTube channel. We just want to make sure our people are aware. Here's where they're strong, here's where they're not strong, here's where we are stronger, and then here's some promotional videos so you understand their language. Some company news, right? Just a single place where news can be funneled in. So you can see here we've also got, some assets here. And then this is where it gets interesting, right? Because we're not just about pushing content. We want to make sure the content is engaging, folks in the team are asking questions. And then as information is updating and as we're learning more in the industry, what we want to do is we want to have a place where we can capture that information. So you can see here, Ashley's ran into them here, Rob, one of our reps, hearing lots of features. I'm not getting into the detail. What you see here is a structured feed that's in the competitive huddle that is in context, that's relevant, and that's accessible when someone else is competing against this person. Again, they have strengths. Let's understand their strengths, and then let's ensure that we are selling around those strengths. Weaknesses. Here are weaknesses. And you can see here's a bunch of weaknesses, and then we're having comments. We're checking each other, holding each other accountable. So, and then there's a place to ask anything, right? So here I can ask anything. There haven't been any questions. Here is the competitive battle card, right? So one place for everything that we need to know about this competitor. And you can see there it is, filled out, available. And then I think what's amazing is this is tagged, and you can see here we've tagged this by competitor Lessonly. We can also pick stages if we want this to show up. So what does that mean? The tagging is going to show up. This file will show up in the filter, in the search, and also in Salesforce. So back to the homepage. So what I've shown you so far, let me do a little recap, is showed you some of our templates around competitive huddles, the battle cards. I picked one. I showed you the library so you can see how things can be organized with categories and subcategories. I think it's pretty great. The Lessonly competitive is good from a search perspective. I can go in, I can search Lessonly. Great, I'm gonna pick it. And then now what am I getting as an individual? I'm getting 14 results. I can filter. Oh, show me the coaching huddles. So here are the coaching huddles. There it is. One click search. I can filter by additional criteria. I can go in and just go directly into that. Show me the files. Here is that battle card. Boom, I just can go to it right there. We want to make it easy for your people to find what they need wherever they are, whenever they are. And everything, by the way, is mobile enabled. Pretty cool. So the other piece here is when I'm in Salesforce. So everything that is in the library inside of the SalesHood sales enablement platform, everything that is files, assets, everything that is coaching huddles. We also have the ability for this information to be available in Salesforce. I'm a Classic user. I haven't yet made the transition to Lightning. This is also available in Lightning, and you can see here's a demo deal. I'm the owner. I'm in stage 5, and let's go into solution. We've tagged this. Oh, I'm going to change this to Lessonly. So I change this to Lessonly. Boom. And so, we're keeping the simple queries simple here, but in this instance, I have competitor Lessonly, stage 5 procurement, and boom, there's the Lessonly competitive battle card. There is, I can filter this also by title. I can filter this by, there's Lessonly battle card, the Lessonly. So that same file that was available in the library, searchable in the library, is now visible, searchable here in Salesforce as well. You can see that, great. And if I flip the competitor, I'm just going to change this to Brainshark. We compete with them too. So boom, I go into Brainshark, I go into the page, and then the Lessonly files go away. And then here is the Brainshark competitive huddle and the Brainshark competitive battle card. And so high level, what we wanted to show you today was how you are able to effectively use SalesHood to create, curate, and ultimately share and manage all of your competitive information inside of SalesHood. And the one piece I want to share, the one thing I want to end with is, well, how do we get our people to practice? And that's a great question. And so if I go back into my hood and I go into Lessonly competitive, and let's just say, what I want to do is I want everybody to practice I want everyone to practice how they would overcome some objections around Lessonly. So you can see here, I can go add a pitch directly to the huddle, and I can go overcome Lessonly strengths. And I can add a scorecard. I can customize this. And then boom, I'm just in the context of the Lessonly competitor. I'm going to have everybody on my team go in and record a quick 30-second video on how they would overcome some of the competitor strengths from Lessonly. And that's available right here. And now everybody in the system is coming in. And the next time they go do this, they're going to have to, they can see everyone. And then I can go ahead and record my video right here, get feedback from my managers. The last thing I want to show you before we wind down this specific webinar on how to beat the competition is this win back concept. And so this is a pretty cool concept. I love the idea of winning back deals. A deal lost is an opportunity to win it in the future. And so we've got win back review templates in the system as well. And you can see here, this is a huddle that we've created where we would synchronize the sales hood system with Salesforce. We pull in all the losses and then we treat them as win backs, and then we have everybody answer questions, and that way we can build strategies around winning these deals. And you know what, we want to make sure that we're arming our reps with everything they need to not only lose to win deals, to win deals and to win back the deals. And you can see here specific questions. Why do you think we lost the deal? What would the customer say about why we lost? How do we leverage our relationships during the process? And what will we do to win back the deal? So the salespeople would answer these questions. The manager would run the huddle, and then they would come together. And you know what? I can assure you that with a win back strategy, we're with good relationship building, with a classy finish, ensuring that we don't burn any bridges, we'll win the deal later, and then we'll pull them in. So holistically, what I wanted to highlight today is, we've got a lot of tools and resources that are available to help you inside of the system. And the platform is rich. It's going to help you be successful. It's going to help you scale, how you're going to enable your people. Here's the slide deck, the specific competitive strengths and weaknesses. But the power is when you roll it out in a central place, track engagement by your team, track completion of the learning, track completion of them being able to handle the pitches, and then make sure that the content and the tools and the coaching are available wherever your salespeople are, in search, in the system, in Salesforce. And, how do you get started? I'll take a question in a second, but we want to help you, right? So pick a competitor and we'll help you create a coaching huddle. Then you can publish and tag that huddle and the content so that way it shows up just in time for your people. And then measure results. We're all about measuring outcomes. And guess what? Once you do that once, that's a muscle that you've created and built inside of your organization. Rinse and repeat. Just like you saw in our library, we have a huddle and a folder and competitive battle cards for every one of our competitors. I wonder if you've got that inside of your teams as well. And so I want to just remind everyone, we are an amazing community of sales enablement practitioners. March 23rd, March 24th is our 6th annual Sales Enablement Conference, Multipliers 20. So excited. So please, if you want to learn more about the conference, it's an amazing collection of content, connections, and ideas, and brainstorming and networking, and it's truly a remarkable event. We've got a ton of great talks already, but 6 years, hundreds of sales enablement folks coming together. And next steps, we're going to open invitation to everybody that's joined to Community Hood, where we've got our templates, our talks, our best practices, work with experts, and you can also join us to request a trial. And with that, I'm going to kind of stop the formal webinar on enabling how you can enable your teams to win every deal and beat the competition. And I think there are some questions, and this has been great. Let me see the questions that have come in. And so I've got a chat. Let's go see here. Looks good. What is a typical deployment time from a customer perspective using all the elements you discussed today? So great question, Clive. Thank you. What is the typical deployment time? So, I think, let's assume for a moment. So typical deployment is anywhere from days to weeks. And we pick a problem. If I go back to this, slide, we want to help you. So let's pick a specific problem. If you say that competitive win rates are the number one challenge, I'll tell you, Siobhan Thatcher, when she rolled out Sales Hood for competitive win rates for her team at Host Analytics, we spoke to her on a Wednesday night, late in the day. On a Thursday, she logged into the system. She took our template, she cloned it, she created a huddle. She then went around to the office, recorded very quickly some strengths and weaknesses for a specific competitor, rolled that into the system, added the 100+ people. On Friday, she rolled it out to the team. On Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, every one of her teams watched the huddle, the videos. Everybody recorded one strength and one weakness. By Monday afternoon, she had over 100 people had gone through and recorded 2 videos each, completed the huddle, and over 1,000 views of the content. Guess what? Tuesday morning was her conference, and her teams were motivated. They were pumped up. So look at that. That's how fast we can move. If you're ready with the content and you're ready with a specific problem, we'll be there with you every step of the way. And that was effectively Siobhan Thatcher's trial inside of SalesHood, and that's how we got to meet Siobhan. So you can get something up and running specifically around a competitive huddle less than a week, even in 24 hours, depending on how quickly you can get some of the content loaded in. And it's not on us, it's on you, just identifying who are the people in the organization that are content experts, and then let's get them using the phone. We don't need high production value. SalesHood is designed to help you capture, crowdsource, and then ultimately roll out the content super fast inside of your organizations. Clive, hopefully that was a good answer for you, and feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to kind of understand how we can help you get up and running quickly. Another question, Stephen Mandel. Who is the typical executive sponsor for implementation of SalesHood? Great question. In a typical B2B SaaS, there are champions, there are executive sponsors, and there are influencers. What we're seeing in the industry is sales enablement and sales attainment and boosting sales productivity is a problem that can be either a chief revenue officer, VP sales, chief revenue officer would be the exec sponsors. We're seeing marketing and CMOs and marketers increasingly owning sales enablement. And in some cases, it moves up to the CEO or the COO as well. But I think what you're hearing me say is sales enablement as a top priority, as a go-to-market revenue driver is a C-suite, is a C-level, is getting C-level sponsorship. And so the sales enablement team and the sales ops teams, they're the champions, and it's ultimately sponsored high up. And by the way, that's a secret to success. If we can get the C-suite, just like when I was at Salesforce, we had Mark Benioff was driving sales enablement, and he was driving it directly with me in the leadership team in sales. No C-suite alignment, then you know what? Sales enablement and the programs that you're rolling out, they're just going to be compliance-based. They're not going to drive the results. And you're going to wonder, why aren't people adopting my system, my content? You need C-suite sponsorship. Thank you for the question. That's a good one. Let's see here. A typical deployment time. I guess that's it for now. My email, Eli, ELAY at saleshood.com. My team's here to help you. We'd love to provide you with resources, content, tools, and the platform to help you improve your competitive win rates. And thanks for joining us today, and look forward to seeing everyone at our Multipliers Conference. Have a great day.